So you and your friend Jessica, your business
Yep.
partner, started Bear Blends back in 2018. Did a little bit of research on you guys. You guys are definitely a little bit different, but I'd like for you to share with the
Yeah.
audience so how you got started with this.
Yeah. So at the tail end of 2018, actually, it was November of 2018, we came together because Jessica has a decent amount of business experience. And when I had met her, it was kind of 10 years into her own journey with entrepreneurship. And she had owned successful yoga studios. And so she wanted to continue focusing on health focused concepts and wanted to get into food. Didn't really know exactly how to do it. I came into her life right around that time. We had a conversation about what my goals were and what I wanted to do. And it just so happened that we aligned. We both wanted to do the same thing. We came together and we made it happen. And, that's obviously the short version of that. But her business experience combined with my understanding of nutrition and science and health and wellness and food creation came together and formed something great.
Yeah, so your background here. I've got a little.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of info here. So you have a bachelor's in molecular bio and
Yep.
chemistry, and a master's in
Yep.
nutrition. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to be a scientist for a while. I wanted to focus on medicine, then pharmaceuticals. Then I ultimately realized that the most impactful thing that we can do to improve our overall health is the food that we put into our body and using that as a tool to kind of eradicate chronic disease and just stay healthy. So I thought, instead of working in a lab or working potentially for big pharma, why not just do something that I'm passionate about, which is create really healthy recipes that are great for health, and see if I can start a business and do
Hmm.
it. And it went really well. So here we are today.
Here we are. So, look, there's plenty of smoothie shops out there and acai bowl
Oh yeah.
franchises. It just seems like there are more and more every time you turn around. So, I would love for you to share with the audience what makes Bear Blends different.
Yeah, for sure. I love this question. So I'm glad you asked. The fact that we are founded by somebody who has a background in science and understands the benefits of the creations that we put together is one thing. The other thing is we're not only a smoothie and smoothie bowl company. We have smoothies and smoothie bowls, and we gained our popularity where we started based on those products, but we offer a wide variety of healthy grab and go things, different sweet and savory items. We also do healthy like waffle toasts that are delicious. We offer sweet and savory varieties for customers looking for a warmer option. We also do salads and grain bowls and fresh pressed juices. So we do the smoothies and the smoothie bowls, but we are definitely more of a all inclusive cafe where we have options for breakfast, for a midday treat, for lunch. And we have customers who patronize us for dinner as well. So we just have more to offer, and we focus on serving a whole food plant based product. So we don't put any additives into our products, no chemical preservatives, no added sugars. A lot of the other concepts out there try to cut corners with the production,
Hmm.
unfortunately, and they add chemicals in there to preserve the fruit base, or they'll completely take the fruit out entirely and just use flavor enhancers and a ton of ice and syrups. And so it becomes no better than drinking, a soda.
Right.
Whereas we don't even add ice into our smoothies. We just do it all frozen fruit, and any, flavor enhancers we might add in there are nut butters, nuts, seeds. We use fresh herbs from time to time, like mint. We'll use like organic cacao for like a chocolatey flavor. We also created our own proprietary protein. So our protein powder is very clean, and it's something that we use to add an additional protein boost to our smoothies and our smoothie bowls, for the customers that are looking for that type of thing. And yeah, we really focus on the whole food plant-based lifestyle and enhancing that. And our product is also exclusively gluten-free. So our granola is proprietary. The waffle batter that we use for our waffles is also proprietary, and all of those things are gluten free. So we're able to accommodate those customers that have those specific dietary restrictions
Hmm.
without being overly aggressive about it. You know, with our marketing, we don't typically push constantly that we are this whole food, plant-based, vegan, gluten-free company. We certainly are that, but
Right.
we like to be very welcoming. We like for customers who are unfamiliar with our product to come in and realize how healthy it is, how delicious it is. And it's worked really well for us.
Cool. Okay. So I was on the website, I looked at the menu. So you mentioned this waffle toast thing, and I saw it on the
Yeah.
menu. What exactly is the waffle toast? Looks really good.
Yeah. So we have sweet and savory flavors. The savory flavors are more like avocado toast, but
Hmm.
on a gluten-free mini waffle. So the bread is a waffle and then it's topped with avocado. And we have a couple different flavors. We do just like an original one with some seasoning on top. And then we do a taco flavor.
Hmm.
So we make our own taco meat. And I keep using air quotes. I don't know if you can see, but we make our own taco meat because we're vegan. It's made out of walnuts and sunflower seeds.
Okay.
And that might sound crazy, but it literally tastes like taco meat. It's crazy.
Wow.
So, yeah, so the toast, they're like little mini waffles basically. But
Right.
if I guess if a waffle and an avocado toast had a baby, that's what our waffle toast would be.
Okay, that's great. That's a great way of
Yeah.
explaining it. So let's see. You have right now you have 11 locations, right? You have 8 franchise. You have 3 company owned. I understand you're in
Yeah.
4 states, right? Florida, New York, Massachusetts, and Colorado. So where are the company owned locations, and where did you
In
start
New
opening
York.
in New York?
Yeah, so we started in New York, in upstate New York, and then we expanded that market. We franchised and I know we were talking about it before, but we franchised in a great year.
Yes, in
And
2020.
it was interesting navigating the challenges that year presented to us while growing the franchise. We did have a franchisee who was interested in 2 different markets, and they wanted to start in the New York market, and then they also wanted to begin to develop the Florida market as well. So we have the same franchisee who has a location in upstate New York where they started,
Hmm.
and then also is expanding the Florida market now too. But it took us 2 entire years almost to develop the Florida locations just because of the issues that we were facing with the municipalities during the pandemic,
Hmm.
the supply chain issues we were facing during the pandemic, and also their 2 locations went into brand new apartment buildings. So I'm sure you can imagine just
Oh,
the challenge, like the timeline, you know, for that. So those finally opened. We're so excited about it. But it took forever. I mean, it was crazy.
yeah, I bet it did. But hopefully that's all behind us now, right? So what is it like opening up new locations? What's usually the timeline it takes to get a new location open?
Yeah, so typically a year is what we
Hmm.
project, you know, with figuring out with dealing with the lease negotiations and the site selection. And then it really just, you know, they have to find a contractor and we give them all the information that they need, and they start the build out process, which could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It really just depends on how quickly the contractor moves. And I know you're familiar with franchising too, so I'm sure you understand why there's that, you know, that gap, you know, between whether or not they can get it done in 3 months or 6 months. But it's typically that amount of time. And then, you know, they do a little training. We focus on marketing,
Hmm.
and then we're ready to open the doors. So I would say anywhere from a year to a year and 3 months.
Okay. All right. So fairly typical then
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
retail shops.
It's
Yeah.
fairly turnkey. It's very simple. Our concept, you know, we focus on serving the whole food, plant-based food, and a lot of it doesn't really need to be cooked. Like we don't have any open flame, we don't have any hoods. Our startup costs are fairly reasonable because of that, because our equipment costs are so low
Hmm.
and our footprint is so small. I mean, we can operate these stores out of 1,000 square feet. So that makes it largely appealing for our franchise candidates. But it also cuts down on that timeline because you don't have to wait on all of the crazy equipment that's so expensive to get installed. And it's, you know, like I said, 1,000 to 1,200 square feet is really all you need. So,
Right.
you know, it's fairly simple.
Okay. I'm always so curious on what led somebody to franchising. You know, we always say how franchising found
Yeah.
you. So when you founded the company in 2018, How early on did you and Jessica start exploring like franchising is going to be the way to go for us?
Yeah, so Jessica, she was just finishing the process of franchising her yoga concept,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, the pandemic hit and it wreaked havoc on the fitness industry. It was horrible, and that was the first year when she was ready to start selling her own franchises. So she had a little bit of experience just with, you know, the franchising process. So at that point in time, we already had a bunch of customers who would come to us, kind of, you know, how it starts out in the beginning.
Right.
They come in and they're like, oh, you guys should franchise this. This is so cool, blah, blah, blah. And she had just gone through the process, and we were planning to open a second location. We thought, you know, if the process in New York State to become a franchise takes about a year, why not kind of start the process now if that's something that we are considering doing. So
Mhm.
it kind of just started there, and then it really snowballed. I mean, we opened another location, everything went really well. We were franchising. We definitely jumped the gun with it a little bit.
Mhm.
But we were able to adapt as we continued to grow and expand. We've grown quickly, I think, from an outsider's perspective, but internally, we've really focused on optimizing and elevating the different aspects of our franchise so that when we're ready for that next phase of growth, we know exactly what we need to do from a support standpoint and just from a company growth standpoint. So we grew quickly, but we've grown intentionally as well.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.